welcome to another episode of 177 Nations of Tasmania. Rwanda, a small country of some 13 million people in Central Africa, is perhaps best known for one of the worst human atrocities of the late 20th century. Now, although Tasmania has a very small Rwandan community, every year for the last 20 years there has been an event to commemorate the Rwandan Genocide in Hobart. My guest in this episode, Aubert, has been one of the key organisers in keeping this event alive. He arrived in Hobart in the early 2000s with experience from Rwanda in agricultural science. His first few jobs in Tassie, however, were quite varied and even included a stint working as a shop assistant at the body shop. He's also worked in the community sector, giving guidance to new migrants to Tassie, particularly from the African community, to help them adjust to the new culture. And there's a lot more to be said about Aubert's story, but for that, I'll let him tell you in his own words.
My
name is Aubert Ruzigandekwe. I was born and grew up in Rwanda. Rwanda is a tiny country in the middle of Africa. So growing up was, as you can imagine, a third world country. But being a kid, really, well, you don't know anything better than what you have, and it was a really good life. Had so much fun. I was born in a big family. We were just always running around playing football. And it was just amazing life experience I had. And, there's no toy shop, so you can go and buy a toy or stuff like that. We had to make up our own toys. We always managed to do it. Even soccer balls, I've got some here at home. I'll show you later. And really having loving parents, lot of love, uncles, aunties, neighbors. So I grew up where kids, our tradition, kids are everyone's kids. Mm-hmm. It is the responsibility of everybody to look after kids, and you just know that people love kids and you're protected, they look after you so well. So that's really how I grew up as a kid. Then I became a teenage boy, and then went to school and started going to the city and got introduced a bit more in the city's lifestyle. Going to movies and going to live concerts. There's a lot of live concerts in Rwanda. Nightlife, if I can say that. So that was a different experience that, as young adult, I was exposed to, and I enjoyed it because Rwandans are singing and dancing, and when you are in the countryside, you more into the the traditional music, even though there is modern music. And then you go to the cities, there's probably almost none of the traditional music and place.
What did your family live from, and what was the general
income?
Yeah,
well, my dad was a nurse to start with, and then we had a small farm where we had cows. So we are cows people, and we have cows in our backyard, so they're like our pets, like you have dogs. They've got names, we pat them, we have songs for them, we dance for them, or anything you can imagine about the very highly respected animal tradition. But also we had sheep, a few of them just to keep the cows company. We had goats, we had chooks, we had pigs. We had all sorts of fun, but all that is used really to, at the end of the day, is to generate some sort of income, to provide some fertilizer for the farm. Yes, we had dogs as well as pets. We had cats, but everybody in the household had some role to play. It's not just being there for being there.
And did everybody in the family sort of have some kind of chores or did that, to help out with the animals and so on?
It's very obvious that, it's clear everybody has to make a contribution. I guess if it was in this Western world, people would think that, there's child abuse or, child slavery, but, every kid has to make a contribution. Even the cat does not eating the mice, then the cat is not anymore needed in the household. The dog is there to keep the house safe and alert you if something happens around the house. The dog does not do that. You don't keep that dog. And everybody knows they have to make contribution because it's a hard work. Everybody has to work. That's how it is.
one thing that's really struck me in, or come up as a theme in a lot of interviews I've done with Africans, is the real sense of community and everybody not only having to pitch in but to support each other, and not just the nuclear family like we have in Australia.
Yeah, well, it's a different concept here. I guess it comes back to culture. Everyone has have their own culture, and for us, I remember a few years back having an interview with the SBS and with ABC radio. It was radio, and then they went to spoke to this psychologist or social worker from a migrant resource center, because we run a coffee club here. So we raise money. The money we raise, we send it back to people back in Rwanda who need it. And she said, well, in general, people feel like, they owe something to their community because they left them behind. And they have a sense of guilt. And people really, they just sit and make conclusions about things they have no idea about, because that's how we grew up. We grew up helping each other. It's not just about the nuclear family. It's about actually people around you. We have, even proverbs, that say that your neighbor can be more useful than your brother who is not close by, your sister who is not close by. People genuinely look after each other without looking for anything in return. You just do what you have to do, and that's how the culture is. It's not about feeling guilty or anything like that. It's people are selfless. And I guess growing in those places where, the third world countries have no money, have little, the sense of sharing really makes everyone's life easy. And also, if you lose that culture, what will you be left with? You have your money, you come home and sit by yourself, do whatever you want, because you can afford it in terms of money. But I think what we have is that people don't have materials, but they are rich in the sense of the social side of their life. People are very sociable. And I think that's what is lacking in this Western world, because if you can mix the two, that probably would be a paradise, to be honest. The wealth of this first world, and then the happiness and the social side of the third world countries, we make a world a much better place if you can mix the two.
What was school like in Rwanda?
Well, my time schooling was, it's still paramount back there in Rwanda. For most of third world countries, if you want to break through and get a better life in the future, and then you have to go through schooling. But we were in a French system, and it's very, very tough. If you don't pass a certain amount of points you have to have, if you don't pass, then they send you home. Sort of thing. It's not about the age thing, they keep skipping, because you're 10, you're going to be in grade 4 or something. No, you're going to pass from primary school all the way up. And then when you finish, you have to do the national exam to go to the secondary school. And that was a tough one, because, there were very few schools. And the percentage, I don't think it was even 10%. It was much less than that. You had to be pretty smart. And then there was that discrimination of, what ethnicity you are from. And that was another big barrier. So I went to a boarding school. So most of kids who passed, who have to leave home and go to a boarding school. There was not many. Now there's plenty of private schools. But back then, most schools were public. Also, the churches, like the Catholic Church is the most powerful in Rwanda, and there was a lot of Catholic schools for boys and girls, and most of them were separated, boys and girls. I mean, which makes sense when you're in a boarding school. Yeah, so it was fun. At the beginning is always daunting, but then you get used to it and you get on with your work. And then you go on holidays, like Christmas holidays, 2 weeks, Easter holiday, 2 weeks. Then we had, the long 3-month holidays, June to September. You have to go back home and stay with your parents and help out. And it was fun. Then playing sports. When you're in a boarding school, that's a good opportunity for you to get good at it, because you have to work. You don't have to go and do anything else. Just after school, you go and have a play. but everybody takes it very, very seriously. So I'll give you an example. When we started, we were about 42. There was 2 classrooms, about 85 students, which was about 41. One was about 42 students, another one 43. And so we finished. My group that I was with, only 18 managed to finish 6 years later.
Right.
So that means more than half were already sent home. That's how hard it was. So yeah, but going to school, we meant that you get a career after school. You can go on and it's a kind of a pathway to a better life. And everybody is very mindful of that. Even today, people work full time in Rwanda now, and they study full time. So they finish work at 5, straight to uni, for example, and they go from let's say 7 to 10 p.m. They go home, they go to bed, and then on Saturday they're gonna spend the whole day studying until they finish, because the competition, a country of almost a quarter of Tasmania with 13 million people living in there. So the competition, jobs obviously they're not enough. You have to be really very well equipped to be able to compete at the market, give yourself a chance to get a job.
And so when you were still at school, did you have some ambition or plan of where you wanted to go?
So this is interesting, because you want to, when you're doing that national exam, when you're finishing primary school, they're always asking you, what do you want to do? I want to be a vet, because I love animals, and we are cows, people who love cows. And I said, well, maybe I can help looking after those, treating them if they're not well. And then I was given, you don't have a choice really. They make you choose, but they give you whatever they want. So I ended up in a school of agriculture sciences. That's what I did. And then I liked it too. I didn't mind it. At least you don't see the plant suffering as much as the animal could suffer. I end up liking it. So you really have, you have some ambitions, and they give you that, they will put you those schools where we have some pathways, from there you can go and work. And some of them obviously not have as many opportunities than others, but it was not hard for me to find a job after that.
So if you study agricultural science from Rwanda, where does that pathway lead you?
So when you finish that, then, a lot of Rwandans live on substantial farms. So they need somebody to go there and advise them, help them out of how to look after their crops, whatever crops that is. And I end up actually working in this Institute of Agriculture Sciences, working in a beans program. Yeah, and really doing all the work from the very first step of, cross hybriding the different types of beans to produce the first type bean, the very first seeds, all the way until the distribution. And and then you have to convince the farmers with their small farms that this is better than yours because it produces more. So that's what I did, and it was interesting.
Were you married in Rwanda?
Yes, we were married in Rwanda.
And what's the tradition with marriage in Rwanda? What happens?
That's something. Well, it's all changing now, but the traditional wedding is the process of you need to, actually back then, it's a bit like I heard the Indians have the arranged marriage. It was a bit like that because if you have a son, parents of the sons who try to find out the future wife for them, they go to they know already been looking for when the sons see growing up. Even they know some families that have got good kids and good family values that match their values, and then they try to go and ask whether their son could marry their daughter, and that itself was like, you go through the process because and sometimes the boy's son parents have done all the homework when the daughter's family have not done the homework. And then they have to come and do the homework as well, and to learn what this other family is and how they behave. Have they done it? And they have to consult, the family members, the uncles, the aunties, ask around, and and every single one have to tick the box before this marriage, the process will begin. That was the very, first step. Then they have to officially come and ask to marry, and they go through some sort of an interview, if I could say that, and after that, if they agree to go ahead, they have to go and get a dowry, which would be a cow, and then after that, there's so many steps in between, and finally the wedding will happen. And but a lot of, again, it's big day, a lot of everybody, it's the extended family, neighbors, friends. It'd be like there is you have 500 people coming to the wedding. It's normal. That's a normal number. You got 1,000 sometimes. It's just but everybody comes and makes a contribution again. Whatever. If they don't have money to support you, because people can bring money, can bring food, the person will just turn and say, "What do you want me to do?" And just offer themselves and help you out. Everybody would be keen and come and help to make that event special. So I would say that Rwandan, even though men are always troublemakers, but in general, in our tradition, women have always played a big role in our households, in the political landscape of even the kingdom before the independence. Yeah, women had always a big role to play, always, and today they still are. Because I guess Rwanda has got, the highest number of with female in the parliament. Has got the record across the world. Yeah, no, because I think they are over 50%. There's no any other countries anywhere that has that number. So it's not something that happens today, even though, yes, the politics of today is encouraging them, but even before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, it goes back to the proverbs, one, for example, a man with a better wife has a better household. Let's say, because just the house it's all about a woman. It's not about in a good wife, we make the house look welcome and a good place to be. If she's not a good one, then the man is not going to do anything about it. It's again showing the power and the respect, the high respect the Rwandan society have for women.
So how did you end up coming to Tasmania? Maybe that's the easiest way to ask it.
Yes, well, there's not much to say, really, to be honest, because, my wife was already in Tasmania.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and that's come to join my wife. And we lived here since. We never left Tasmania. I remember when we got here, I thought, well, I'm just flying in the morning in autumn month of March from Melbourne around 8 a.m. in the morning. The sun is out. The only thing I can see is the bush. And I'm asking myself, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Then I got to the airport. It's the tiniest airport I've ever been to. I said, what? Anyway, as we're driving home, I told my wife, I don't think we can live in this place. It's too small for me. Just, coming from some big cities. I said, no. And then she said, well, I think I like this place. I said, no, don't think I live here. So the argument went on, and I guess she won.
Yeah.
We are still here, yeah.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
But 2004, 19 years ago.
So almost 20 years.
Yeah, so I like here very much now. But I had to sit down and appreciate it, because I think Tasmania is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Not just because of the landscape, just because of the people as well. It's an amazing place to live and raise your children.
What were some of the initial challenges that, apart from cold, that you experienced in settling down in Tasmania?
Actually, it was not cold for me, Mark, because I lived in Europe 2 years before coming here. So obviously it's colder than here. Cold was not a problem to me. It was cold when I went to work in a farm because, it was in an open with all the wind coming through. But otherwise, really, it's not colder. When I lived in Europe, I was not in open for 8 hours, So that really the only issue was if I want to work, I want a courier. I don't think I want to be working in open space because it was, that's the only problem with them. But so the challenges of living in this place, the challenge was the language, to be honest, because having a chat, but I cannot say any word of English. And that was not easy. I really found it very, very challenging. It took me about 6 months to be able to have a conversation with someone. And the 6 months I spent here were really hard. Just because of that issue, if I want to go buy something, I even don't know what to call it. I don't know how much to pay, all that kind of stuff. You do all these little things, Somebody speaks to you, you can see they're genuine and friendly, and you don't know what they're talking about, and you don't know what to tell to them. That was a tough bit. But other than that, no. I found it this really very welcoming place, and found people very friendly. People are just relaxed and have time for you, and you can say hi to someone walking on the street, they will say hi and keep walking, which I left in Rwanda. I got to Europe, nobody could talk to me. As you talk to someone, they think like you want something from them or something. Anyway,
what helped you improve your language skills or English skills?
Well, the first thing I did was to join a soccer club, that Zebras. So nobody speaks in Rwanda, everybody speaks English. So that was a start, because, I talk to the boys, just talk to me, even though I don't understand. And then my brain was almost working so hard. And that's why it was stressful. But that was one way. Then I went to TEF, like everybody else, to to learn English. And that is how I got to get that job in a farm. And we don't have a big Rwandan community here, so there's some Eddie, for example, speaks Swahili. As far as Swahili is not my first language, I understand Swahili. My Swahili is not the best, but we can have a conversation in Swahili, no problems. Not like in English. I think when I got here, there was a lot of Africans already.
Okay.
There was Afritas going, there was a big Sudanese community, there was a big Ethiopian community. I don't know where they all went now, but it was big. Yeah, so a lot of fun. I remember we were going to play soccer. I went to play for Hobart United the following year. And the big fans in the stadium making noise, they helped us winning the title, because they just come and play drums and all that kind of sing. And every single game they follow us. That was fun, but... I don't know, everybody got busy, I think, and moved interstate. And
I know a lot of Sudanese moved to Melbourne.
And in Perth and Brisbane.
So your first job was on a farm then? Is that right?
I did a bit of that. We go.
And how did you get that job?
Through Sue, who was a sister of Clive, and Clive was the manager of the business, so the Bijo Seeds. So stay in touch with him sometime. Yeah, he was a very nice man. So, and then that was a kind of casual. And then I was teaching French to some uni students to make a bit of money, extra money. One of the most interesting job I think I did was working at the body shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, during Christmas time.
Like a shop assistant?
Yeah, shop assistant. Oh my God! And people are saying, "What's this man doing this?" It's not for men, really. You say then, you talk about sexism and stuff. I didn't care myself, because you give me a job, I do the job. I don't care. You pay me, not because I'm desperate. I don't like money that much, but I don't want people to put money in my hand. I want to go and work, and I was ready to get any job and do it. And this was one of those. And I did not even realize it was, most dominated by women, but didn't have any problem with that. And I remember it was about 6 months after I got here, and I could speak hardly English, and I was saying, I could say a few words, but saying like, gift wrapped, do you want this gift wrapped? Because we'd be around, because, oh my God, here we go. I had nightmares about saying that word, I could not say it. And I'd be nervous, and, but I kept doing it, and, every Christmas time, they call me back again, come and work with us, until I found a proper job. And then I did interpreting after I started speaking a bit good English. And well, it was not even good enough, but anyway, I still could understand better than most of those people I was interpreting for. I was an interpreter for centering. I worked for those guys, world languages and amigos. And then ending up working with Center Care. At that time, it was, now it's called Catholic Care. At that time it was called Center Care. There was the Burundians were coming, the Congolese were coming at that time. So because I speak French and Swahili and Kirundi, which is very similar to Kinyarwanda, So I was helping these people to come and settle. So that got busy. So I did a fair bit different jobs here. I have done that. Yeah.
So it's a real range of experiences.
Yeah, and totally different jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dealing with different type of people. I mean, body shop. I guess that would be more locals, and
yes,
centre care would be more your Africans.
Africans, but also again different cultures. Everything's but a lot of human contacts, and I like people. I always enjoyed. Whether being a shop assistant, there will be customers coming in non-stop, and whether working with centre care, and so many of these guys come from really very, very. Some of them for very, they need to learn everything from the scratch. And one of the most important things is to help them to understand the culture here. Mm-hmm. You can do this. You cannot do that. Because where we come from, we can do that. And really knowing that they're not gonna go and upset someone without even knowing they're upsetting someone. Knowing the local culture, the do's and the don'ts, what they do, what they don't like to do. What is appropriate, what's not appropriate, and all that kind of things.
What would you say would be some of the most important advice you would give to those new guys about Australian culture? Like, what do you think would be the most some of the important things for them to know?
It's really it's very, very simple stuff. But if someone who was born here and grew up here, or somebody who's been here for a long time, probably not even think about it. A very simple example is, so if somebody tells you something, would you like to come and visit me? Let's go to a restaurant. Would you come to go and have a beer with me, or would you want to come to visit me sometime? Would you like to come with me for walk? If you don't feel like going for walk, then you say, well, I don't feel like going for walk. So that most of these guys, they know it's being rude if somebody asks you to do something with them, and you say no, and then you've been rude, and then they go along without really wanting to do a lot of things. They just go by. And another simple one is really the personal bubble. How close can you get to people? We don't have personal bubble where I come from. A lot of these cultures don't have it. The other thing is men holding hand, women holding hand. Hands, here it says that, that means something else. You're in the relationship, intimate relationship. If you've seen that in Tanzania, I'm sure. Boys are holding each other like that on their shoulders. Women, they're holding each other and first thing you get here, say, people are going to think like, she's my sister or he's my brother. All those kind of little things, mm-hmm. And also young boys watching ladies wearing this very revealing miniskirt, and they assume they are prostitute. And they start going and say, no, they're not prostitute. They're just allowed to wear whatever they want, and you have to respect it. And really, all those little things. You tell them that saves them from really getting into in trouble with the law.
When did you get your first full-time job?
I got a full-time job with the Centrelink, the international branch, and so it was not a full-time job as it was not permanent. It was kind of full-time, but I was on a 6-month contract, and then less than 2 months when I was there, the opportunity came to get a permanent position, and I got it. So I got stuck there for many years, but in between I got an opportunity to work as a multicultural officer, which again linked me back to different communities coming, new communities, including the guys from Asia, the Burmese and the Bhutanese and the Nepalese, the Syrians where they coming, all these, the Iraqis. So I was one of the point of contact. Then I worked as a community officer again, which is this time is as working with local communities, not multicultural communities. Different jobs within Centrelink.
Perhaps you should explain a bit about Hobart United, what Hobart United is.
Well, when I arrived here, everybody was going to tell me to go to play Hobart for Hobart United. I said, why do I have to play for Hobart United? And I guess everybody asked themselves that question because, it was in a lower grade. And, at that time, I think I thought, I was much better than playing at that level. Then I challenged myself. It's not even a challenge, to be honest. Not because I'm trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but the style was totally different to the style I was used to. But, I played soccer when I trained 5 days a week and have games on weekends and played for a long, long time. So I had plenty of soccer experience rather than training twice, Thursday and having a game on Friday night or Saturday. Anyhow, so the following year, anyway, when you get that point, you feel I have nothing to prove to anyone, and actually Eddie came to see me and I say, well, Atif was the coach at that time. Say, Atif won't talk to you. I say, who is Atif to start with? What does he want to speak to me? Say, Eddie, he always finds ways to get you what he wants you to get, and he went and met him and said, well, we want you to come and play for Hobart United. And then I thought that was after Zebras. We actually we were the champion. But anyway, that's one of the time they won it. And I said, well, why not? So I started playing for them. Hobart United the following season. So the level was lower, but the brand of soccer they were playing suited me. Anyway, it's about expressing yourself in a soccer field, having fun and win games, but always win games in a style. We didn't have a we had good defense. We didn't have a goalkeeper. Every shot on goal actually was a goal at that time. And anyhow, we made sure just to score more goals. It was a kind of like a Brazilian way of thinking, if I can say that, even though Brazilians are not doing this anymore. Yeah, so really joining Hobart United was... for me, was just having fun. And then I hurt myself playing after the season because we won the competition. We were promoted the top level. Eddie broke his knee. I broke my knee. And actually the team went downhill from there. They lost every single game they played. And so anyway, when I hurt myself, then I decided to start coaching. So I coached he was one of the people I learned how to coach soccer because I never coached before. But what you find there is it was very multicultural. We had people, we had, local guys. We had all nationalities you can think of. I think Hobart United should actually go back and see the number of nationalities that club has had. It's incredible. Like 2-3 years ago when I was playing, I still play social, we had about, a team of about, 15 players. You've got about 8 different nationalities with these 15 players. And that's something that the soccer bring everybody together to play. And it's a place where all these young men who are who are new in this country, who are trying to learn about the culture, they go there, they cannot speak the language, they're going to find somebody who speaks the language. Bring these kids instead of after school, just in high school, going on in the malls and causing trouble. They go and run and sweat and get tired and go home tired without, wasting their energy and getting in trouble with the law. It's an important club for the community, especially the multicultural community, because just the older boys, they look after the younger boys. They be just like a family. I remember many years I coached Hobart United, end up coaching the seniors. Nobody was out to swear, so you swear and then everybody's going to do push-ups or sit-ups or, do runs, for minutes. Just not to be just soccer club, just trying to be a role model for the younger guys who are coming through. Swearing is not on. We have to be good soccer players, but also have to try to be good citizens, help these kids to grow up and be decent human beings. You're not always successful, but I've seen a lot of boys who were really going the wrong way and they did a U-turn and did well at the end. Yeah, and so it's really it's like a family club. Well, Hobart United, like the other small cities I know of, I don't have to name those because I knew that from the work I did, was one of the places, the safe places for single women. Yeah, so there's any single women that immigration is bringing in, they end up here. Most of them will end up here in other cities as well, small cities, because it's safe. And again, that says everything about this place. And so they came here with these young boys, and really it's very conflicting when young people get here. They have their parents have got their own culture they strongly believe in. The kids find themselves in the young people between two cultures. So what do I do? And that's where the whole confusion comes in, and they end up thinking it's cool to be causing trouble, like being like their friends who may be not troublemakers, and trying to fit in, trying hard, and having that platform when they come and they find, kids of their age who are maybe more settled, been around for a bit, older boys who telling them, no, you stop that. That's not how you do things. It's really, it's a community. It's a family in so many ways.
The other thing I know that you're very I was involved in too, is the commemoration of the Rwandan Genocide. I'd like to describe what that is and what the importance of that is.
Well, we are the survivors of the genocide that happened in Rwanda in 1994. So in 3 months from 6th of April to 4th of July, over 1 million of Tutsis were killed. The statistics have been done, so the international community will say around between 800 but anyway, it's over 1 million based to the local survivors organizations. So this were done by friends killed friends and neighbors kill their neighbors, which everything, all the social side of the Rwandans went just in the window just like that. And so we commemorate just to celebrate lives of those who lost their life. And we lost brothers and sisters and parents and and friends and uncles and aunties and cousins. Any Tutsi who was in Rwanda at that time has lost at least a few. So that's really celebrating their life and also really raise the awareness of what happened there. Next year is going to be 30 years since it happened. And, unfortunately, the same, we see the same story, same, people killing each other happening across the world even today. And it's not us, we just don't even look at it, we don't even think about it. But when it touches you directly, you realize what that is, how bad it is, and how it can affect people forever. So really, the reason we do that is to inform people, and we always had a good response of the people. The Tasmania and Hobart community get a lot of support, and it's an emotional time for everyone when you're doing it. But and we didn't think about stopping it altogether. But then we thought, well, if you have to cry or whatever you're doing that day and feel sad for one day a year, remembering our loved ones and raising the awareness, I think it is worth doing. So we've been doing it since 2003. That's Fano who did it first, and
so 20 years.
20 this was 20 year the year last. This one we had in April. So next is going to be in Hobart, 21. Every year we do it. Even during COVID, we did it online. So we're very serious about it because I think it's important to remember these people, but also to hope that people will just realize it's not good to what happened there. So it can maybe one day people can, stop killing each other if it's possible to happen.
It's the very sad thing is that it's a story that has repeated itself
all the time
over history in different places.
Yeah.
And is anything special planned for the 30 years?
Well, we're going to make it big, that's for sure. So we're inviting again. So at 25th commemoration, we got Rwandans across Australia to come. Well, not everybody came, but there was a good contingent of Rwandans, and we invited friends across. We got somebody from Rwanda to come, and he was here at the commemoration. So we're gonna try to do the same. Try to invite more people, more local people to be involved in this. We're gonna So already started organizing it, and so we're gonna try to make it as big as we can. Because every 5 years we thought we'd have to do it. Try to make it a bit bigger. Sometimes don't get enough people, but we always believe that even if there's one person who came who is new, for us that is a success because they got informed. Many people don't even know where Rwanda is, what it is. So especially the young generation. So it's a way of trying to teach people to live in, try to believe in a peaceful life. The extremism or ways can, it's dangerous. Yeah. Wherever it is, somebody's gonna get hurt when people start thinking it is them against us. That's how they always end up in big trouble. Wherever, could be a suburb, could be a country against a country, could be a race against another race. It's always dangerous when you start, seeing you and them, yourself and them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're you know that you're going to end up with a lot of trouble if you don't try to stop that from happening. And what we talk about is not really, it's not a cup of tea for everyone. It's really heavy stuff, but we've been trying to make it as light as we can, but there's not much light to talk about when it comes to genocide. What do you talk about?
I was going to say, it's hard to make genocide light,
I've been trying to talk about good stories about people who saved people's lives, for example, but you always end up, always somewhere. But we that's what we really been trying to work on so hard, to try to convey the message without really traumatizing people, because people they don't like to hear bad stories sometimes, but bad stories happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's if you don't at least remember these things, then you run the danger that people will forget and will continue. It will continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, for us, really, it's something you live with. That's something that's changed our lives forever.
Yeah.
Because it's not something it's always in the back of your head. It's always there. You just ignore it and keep living, but it's always constantly there. It's not something you can say, well, I wish I could forget about it, but it's always, it's not, it's just, it makes you the person you are. It changes your life forever once you've gone through that kind of life experience. It's like somebody who, I don't know, if you had a heart attack and something, dramatic, get hit by a car, probably you're more careful. Every time you're about to cross the road, you say, the danger of a car or something like that. And it's not something, you don't even think about it, it's something that's always thinking. You're more careful. And this genocide is exactly the same in an extreme level, because it was something so brutal and so unexpected, because it was done by the best friends. Husbands kill their wives, and uncles and aunties kill their nephews and nieces, and just trying to process all that kind of things. And people just never thought they can do such things, and they're the ones who did it. It's just, that's why it just, it's something, once you've seen it, and then it's always there. It's not going to leave you alone. You wish you can forget, but I don't think you'd be able to forget that stuff. But guess what? Well, I think I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Despite all of that, I think I'm much a better person because of that life experience I had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more understanding and more, So again, you just have to be strong enough to, to allow that kind of experience to define the person you are. Maybe you can use it to be, to change for the better, not to be a bitter person and angry and sad at all time.